In lesson 7.7, we are going to work on multi-step division number stories. So let's go ahead and start with our whiteboards and let's do a little warm-up with simple division. So please number your whiteboard 1 to 3. You are just going to write the answers to 63 divided by 7, 42 divided by 6, and 36 divided by 4. So go ahead, pause your video, and write down the answers only. Number 1, 63 divided by 7 is 9. 42 divided by 6 is 7. And 36 divided by 4 is 9. All right, wipe off your whiteboard. Number 1 to 3. Same type of problems, but here we extend the facts. So go ahead and put answers only. Pause the video, write down your answers to numbers 1, 2, and 3. 4 divided by 2 is 2, and then add 2 zeros on. Now it's not 1 divided by 2, but it would be 10 divided by 2 is 5 with 1 0. Did that one get to you? And 8 divided by 4 is 2 with 2 zeros added on the end. Wipe off your whiteboard and 3 more. Remember, when you have a 0 on each side of the equation, they cancel each other out. So write answers only for numbers 1, 2, and 3. Pause your video. All right, 30 divided by 5 is 6, so be careful with that one. Only 1 0 added, 60. This 0 cancels out this 0. 32 divided by 4 is 8, and add in 1 0. This 0 cancels out this one. 54 divided by 9 is 6 with 1 0 added. One more warm-up problem before we move into our math journal. Josh and his 2 friends, so how many people do we have in all? Careful, they always catch kids with that. Josh and two of his friends own a lemonade stand. On a hot Saturday, they sold $171 worth of lemonade in 5 hours. They needed $36 to pay for their supplies. If the boys split the remaining money evenly, how much money did Josh make per hour? So let's go ahead and write an equation. So first of all, we have to start off with what they made. So on your whiteboard, write $171. But they needed to pay $36 for their supplies, probably cups and sugar and lemonade, and they have to pay their parents back. So we have to subtract that from the profits, and we're going to put that in parentheses. Then we're going to divide that by 5 hours. They wanted to know how much he made per hour. And then there are 3 friends. So we're going to divide that by 3. And then that will give us what Josh made per hour. So let's go ahead and take 171, write this on your whiteboard, and subtract 36. Remember, don't just watch me. When you get to be a 5th grader next year, your teacher will expect you've done this with me. So 11 minus 6 is 5. 6 minus 3 is 3. Okay, so they made $135 all together, but they worked for 5 hours. So now we're going to divide that. So we're in step number 2. We're on the division part. We completed this part. So please write 135 divided by 5. 5 goes into 13 2 times. Does McDonald's. Now I'm going to multiply. 5 times 2 is 10. Subtract. 3 is smaller than 5, so I can bring down my 5. And then I say, how many 5s are there in 35? There's 7 of them. 7 times 5 is 35. Subtract, nothing else to bring down. So it was $27 that they made altogether per hour. Then the final step is to divide that by the 3 boys. So 27 divided by 3 is $9. Josh made $9 per hour. The reason it's called multi-step is because, well, first of all, we had to subtract. Second of all, we had to divide. And thirdly, we had to divide again. So let's go ahead and move into our math journal. We're going to be starting on page 245. It says, for each problem, make an estimate and then solve, then answer the questions. So Margaret and her friend had 2 summer job offers. A job babysitting is for 8 hours each week. With Margaret and her friend both working this job, they would earn $200 and $8 each week. Underline that. A summer camp job is for 7 hours each week, and together they would earn $210. Which job pays more per hour for each girl? So let's go ahead and just solve to begin with. So what we want to do is we want to take the information that's in red. We're going to take the babysitting job, all of that information together, and their summer camp job all together. So I'm going to start with the one that they made more in, the summer camp. So I'm going to take $210. Then I'm going to divide it by 2 girls, right? It was and her friend, so there's 2 of them. So $210 divided by 2 of them, and then divided by 7 hours each week. This is all for the camp job. Then we're going to subtract what they would make if they took the babysitting job. So $208 per week divided by 2 people divided by 8 hours, and that will give us the difference between each job. So notice we have some workspace down below. So the first thing I want to do is take $210, and I want you to show me this work. If you need additional time, just pause the video. Divided by 2 friends. Two goes into 2 one time. 2 times 1 is 2, right? Really small. 0. That is smaller than my divisor. Bring down your 1. Now I cannot bring down more than 1 number at a time. So I have to say, how many 2s are there in 1? There's 0. I cannot just say, oh, there's not, so bring down the 0. I have to go through all those steps. 0 times 2 is 0. Now I can bring down my 0. 2 goes into 10 5 times. 2 times 5 is 10. There's nothing else to bring down, so that's 105. And if you want to do some of this on another sheet of paper and just take a picture, or you can work here over on the side if that's easier. So now they each make $105 per week. They work 7 hours per week. So now we have to divide that by the number of hours each week so we know how much they would earn per hour. So 7 goes into 10 one time. 7 times 1 is 7. Subtract. 3 is smaller than 7, so I can bring down my 5. How many 7s are there in 35? There are 5, and 7 times 5 is 35. So the babysitting, no, this was the summer camp job. So summer camp job, they're making $15 per hour. I'm just going to write this there because I'm going to erase a little bit of this so I have more room. Now I'm going to take 208. Now here's an easier way to think about it too. What's half of 200? Half of 200 is 100, right? And then what's half of 8? 4. So I don't even have to do long division. I could just think of that as 200 plus 8. Half of 200 is 100. Half of 8 is 4. So it's $104 that each girl makes per week. Now I'm going to take 104 and divide it by the 8 hours. Eight goes into 10 one time. Subtract 8. Bring down your 4. How many 8s are there in 24? There are 3 of them. Divides evenly. So in this job of babysitting, they make $13 per hour. So the blank job pays more per hour, and that is the camp job. What's 13 compared to 15? $2 more per hour per girl. So again, I'm going to adjust the equation with the letter unknown is up here, so I'm not going to rewrite it. All right, let's move on to number 2. Anna wants to put 72 baseball cards in an album. A square album fits 4 cards per page. So 72 baseball cards, a square album fits 4 cards per page. A rectangular album fits 5 cards per page. How many more pages will she need to fit all of the cards if she uses a square album rather than the rectangular album? So what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead. So the rectangular album is 72 baseball cards divided by 4 for the square album minus, if they used a rectangular one, 72 baseball cards divided by 5 per page will tell me how many more I need, what the difference is. If you're figuring out how many more something will be, you're figuring out difference. So 72 divided by 4. 4 goes into 7 once. 4 times 1 is 4. Let's go ahead and subtract. 7 minus 4 is 3. 3 is smaller than 4, so I can bring down my 2. How many 4s are there in 32? There is 8. 8 times 4 is 32. So if you use the square album, you'll need 18 pages. Now, a rectangular would be 72 divided by 5. So let's divide that. Again, remember to show your work, not just an answer. So how many 5s are there in 7? There's 1. 5 times 1 is 5. Subtract. Five goes into 22. 4 times 5 times 4 is 20. Subtract. Now this one has a remainder. So what this tells me is this: 14 pages are not enough. There's still going to be 2 baseball cards left over. So I have to round up and say I need another page. So I actually need to have 15 pages if I use the rectangular album. So the square album, the difference between 15 and 18 is 3 more pages. What did you do with any remainders you found? I rounded up because I needed another page for the remaining 2 cards. All right, make sure to upload a picture of page 245 to Schoology.